I have a fun little story to tell you about April Fools and the whole Ivy Day thing, videos that you have coming out right now. So back when my daughter was a senior, she had applied to 3 different Ivies. She had gotten into all these other schools, but we were still waiting on these 3 Ivy applications that she had out there. And my dad, who believed in her tremendously, he knew she was going to get into something. He said, I will pay for 3 applications, just apply. She wasn't going to apply because she's like, no, I'm never going to go. He's like, no, yeah, you are. Apply. So she did. Now, all through high school, she had always gone to Harvard's campus because she loved Boston. She's a huge history nut, especially anything that had to do with the Revolutionary War. She loved Boston. So every summer after cheer camp, yes, she was a cheerleader, we'd go and see, Boston, the campus in Cambridge. So, of course, that was one of the ones she was going to do that early action. So she did that. And then the other school, Providence, isn't too far from Boston. She loved Boston. So she picked Brown as her second one. It's funny, though, because she didn't pick Princeton because she doesn't like the color orange. She didn't pick Columbia or Cornell because she really didn't want to go and visit the campuses because they were in New York City at the time. I mean, they're still there, but she didn't want to go at the time. And she didn't want to go north. She didn't want to go to New Hampshire. So Dartmouth was out. And what's really funny is I'm not sure she knew that Penn was an Ivy League school, which is really, really funny because she ended up going there for dental school. Another story. But here we are waiting this day for Penn. I'm sorry, not Penn. We were waiting for Harvard, Yale, and Brown. Now, I'd taken her to see Yale, and she went a little bit begrudgingly because I made her drive there. She hadn't had her license yet. She had other things she had to do. She was in a show, and she had, there was a performance that night, and she was all stressed out about that, but I forced her to go and visit the campus. And as she walked around the campus, I watched her eyes light up, and I watched her feel more comfortable, and I watched her feel really excited about being there. So now she had 2 schools that she desperately wanted to get into, Harvard and Yale. And then Brown, just because you could take a train to go into Boston if you had to. So Ivy Day that year was on the last day of the month. And she came home from school. She had one of her best friends since kindergarten come and sit with her because she was very anxious. And they sat in the living room watching A Fault in Our Stars while they were waiting for time to kill. And I was in the kitchen neurotically cleaning because I do that when I'm stressed. And I'm scrubbing and washing down counters like, I don't know, a million times. And the time that the release came, and then it went, and she was dead silent. Like I didn't know what was going on. And I waited about 5 minutes, and then I waited another 5 minutes. So 10 minutes past the time that these things were released. Now something's up. I grabbed my sponge, and I'm sitting in the doorway trying to pretend that I'm all casual and nonchalant. And I look at her, I was like, all right, Dolly, how did it go? And she looked up at me, white as a ghost, and said, Mom, I'm going to Yale. There was no screaming. There was no celebrating. There was no yelling. She was in shock. She was genuinely in shock. Me, on the other hand, I started screaming and yelling and running around the house, and I called my dad and I called my husband, and it was just a phenomenal moment. We were so excited for her. But the funniest part of the story is that this was the last day of March. She's a cheerleader. She was very low-key in school. Wasn't very flashy with her grades. She wasn't number 1 in her class. She was number 3 or 4. I think it was 4. She was just kind of quiet. And she went into school the next day and told everyone that she got into Yale, and no one believed her. They all said, April Fools. Nobody took her seriously. Not her teachers, not her closer friends. She literally had to drag her friend Kelly with her everywhere she went to say, right? You were there. It's real. I really am. It was a great day. It was a real funny thing that nobody believed her. She kind of took it hard until in hindsight. Now she looks back and she's like, so much for you, what you know. And she did. She went to Yale. One of the greatest 4 years of her life. She met some of the most incredible people, amazing opportunities. She traveled internationally with her a cappella group. She made an album with her a cappella group, which you could go and look online if you really wanted to. And she studied abroad in Croatia. She did an internship in New York City. The things this kid did those 4 years were unbelievable. But it all started with her being white as a ghost, dead silent on the couch, and she looked up at me. In the end, she ended up getting waitlisted for Harvard, and waitlisted for Brown. And then Brown took her off the wait list because she had we actually didn't know about Brown. She completely forgot about them entirely. And then we got a letter from them asking her if she wanted to be taken off the wait list and be accepted. And we were like, oop, we forgot to tell them that she was turning that down. But yeah, that's our little story about our big great reveal and April Fool's Day. So have a great one. Happy April 1st.